चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। भूतैर्महद्भिर्मा पुरो विभु निर्मायशेते यदमुषु पुरुषा भुङ्क्ते गुणान् षोडशात्मका सोऽलङ्कृशिष्ट भगवान् वचांसि मे। श्रीकृष्ण शरणागतं तथा अन्वितं सर्वदेवतं भक्तिवेदान्तमार्गपन्थनं सर्वलोकऋषिदेव जन्मप्रसन्नं। Hare Krishna, dear Prabhu's Matajis, good morning. Welcome to the morning Srīmad Bhāgavatam sessions. We are very fortunate that we have this sublime association to glorify Srīmad Bhāgavatam and use this opportunity to align our consciousness, our mind, our hearts, and the goal of our life to Srīmad Bhāgavatam. Every 6 months we have to do services of our cars. And one of the important services is wheel alignment. If the wheels of the cars are not aligned, there is bound to be accidents sooner or later. However, our minds are so oscillating and so moving here and there every second that this daily alignment is very much needed so that we can properly channel our energies throughout the day, focusing on the learnings of Srīmad Bhāgavatam. And what better episode to do than conversation between Narada and Vyasadeva, two exalted personalities of the devotional path. So yesterday, His Grace Jamadagni Prabhu gave a very wonderful class. But for benefit of devotees, I was thinking of covering those nice verses again. So we continuing from text number 5. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Vyasavacha Bhikshubhir Vipravasite Vignana Deshpribhastava Vartamano Vayasyadye Tatha Kim Akarod Bhavan. Translation: Sri Vyasadeva said, "What did you, Narada, do after the departure of the great sages who had instructed you in the scientific transcendental knowledge before the beginning of your present birth?" Would anyone like to read the paper, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I read this?
Please go ahead, Mataji.
Number 5, right? Verse number 5.
Yes, Mataji.
In his previous life, when Narada was impregnated with spiritual knowledge by the grace of the great sages, there was a tangible change in his life, although he was only a boy of 5 years. That is an important symptom visible after initiation by the bona fide spiritual master. Actual association of devotees brings about a quick change in life for spiritual realization. How it is so acted upon the previous life of Śrī Nārada Muni is described by and by in this chapter. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Mataji. Sorry, it's my mistake. I think I read the wrong ways. I read text number 1. So the translation of text number 5 is upon request by Vyasadeva. So we'll just backtrack again to text number 1 and just do the translation. So Srila Vyasadeva said, "What did you, Narada, do after the departure of the great sages who had instructed you in the scientific transcendental knowledge before the beginning of your present birth?" So Vyasadeva continues, "O son of Brahma, how did you pass your life after initiation, and how did you attain this body, having quit your old one in due course?" O great sage, time annihilates everything in due course. So how is it that this subject matter which happened prior to this day of Brahma is still fresh in your memory, undisturbed by time? And in this particular verse, Narada Muni starts to answer. Narada vacha bhikshubhir vipravasite vigna deshtibhir mama vartamano vayasyadye tata etat akarasham. Translation: Śrī Nārada said, "O great sages who had imparted the great sages who had imparted the scientific knowledge of transcendence to me departed for other places, and I had to pass my life in this way." So word to word we look. Narada Vacha, Śrī Nārada said, Bhikshubhihi, by the great sages. So when we understand this word Bhikshubhihi, we can understand that it means that one who begs. So these Bhakti Vedantists or devotees of the Lord, they are the greatest beggars. But what are they begging? Are they asking for money? Actually, they are only begging that you please join us in glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead and understand this supreme science of Krishna consciousness. This is the begging of the devotees. As we see, Bhaktivinoda Thakur very nicely mentions that Radha Krishna bolo, Sange chalo, ai matra bheka chai. That ai matra bheka, this is our only begging to you, all living entities, that you chant the names of Radha and Krishna, Sange chalo, and come and associate with us. Ai matra bheka chai. There is no other interest of the devotees than to get everyone involved in this movement of Krishna consciousness. And these devotees here are addressed as Bhakti Vedantist. What does Bhakti Vedantist mean? Anyone? So it's made of Bhakti and Vedanta. So Bhakti actually means, of course, yes, sorry, someone was trying to comment. Bhakti Vedantist.
Prabhu, is it, are they the students of Srīmad Bhāgavatam?
Yeah, that's right as well. Basically, it means that Bhakti means devotional service to the Supreme Lord, and Vedantist means that those who have understood the ending conclusion of Vedas. So Ved, Anta, made of two words. Vedas is vast, but Anta, the conclusion of Vedas, is one. So Bhakti Vedantist means that those devotees who are saturated with love and devotion, Bhakti, based on the conclusion of all Vedas, Vedanta, and that is Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, as we understand it, and also these devotees who associated with Narada, they were also Bhaktivedantists. So we should very much understand that this path is the end, the conclusion of all philosophical conclusions. Doing devotional service unto Krishna based on the hearing and chanting of his glories and dedicating all our activities unto him. So, Vipravasite, having departed for other places. So this is the duty of Bhakti Vedanta, is to constantly travel, gam paryatams, that every village and town they travel and preach this message and ask for this bhiksha. Bhikshu be vipravasite. Vijnana, scientific spiritual knowledge, and they explain it in a very scientific way. It is not a mere sentiment. When we follow this path that are enunciated by the Bhakti Vedantis, we actually have a real realization. It is not something that is only speculation. Of course, we have to follow it to experience that. Adeshtribihi, those who imparted unto me, mama, mine, vartamanaha, present, vayasi, adye, before this life, tata, thereafter, etat, this much, akarasham, performed. So, Narada Muni says that the great sages who had imparted scientific knowledge of transcendence to me departed for other places, and I had to pass my life in this way. So similarly, when we get initiated also, the spiritual master leaves and goes on in his preaching mission. And we have to pass our life in a certain way as per the instructions they have given. So Narada Muni, by his personal example now, is relating what he did after the spiritual masters departed and what transpired. Text number 6. Ekatmaja me janani yoshin mudha chakinkari mayatmaje nanyagato chakre snehanubandhanam. Translation: I was the only son of my mother, who was not only a simple woman, but a maidservant as well. Since I was her only offspring, she had no other alternative for protection. She bound me with the tie of affection. So this usually we call it, one child syndrome. And we ourselves, experience this because we have one child. That all our affection goes to that one child, and especially for the mother, the child is all in all. And there's a quote by Śrī Prabhupada where he mentions child worship is more important than deity worship. And literally, mothers will take it as it is, and pour all their love and affection to the child, and so strong the bond is. Let's look at word to word of this nice verse. Eka Atmaja, having only one son. Eka means one, Atmaja means offspring or child. Me, my, Janani, mother, Yoshi, woman by class, Mudha, foolish, Cha, and no, I won't mention name, but one of the Prabhus, was saying to his wife, your only problem is your undue and excessive attachment to your son. If somehow you can control that, you will be better and your son will be better. But that is the nature of the relationship between mother and the son. And she was kinkari, maidservant, mai unto me, Atmaje, being her offspring, Ananyagato, one who has no alternative for protection. So she was protecting him, and he was her only hope for protection. Chakre did it, sneha anubandhanam, tied by the affection of bondage. So this sneha anubandhanam, is very important, that we, in our relations, we tie each other with this bondage of affection. And that's how Narad Muni's bondage of affection with his mother was, and more so from the mother's point of view. Narad Muni at this point in time actually wanted to leave the house and go with the Bhakti Vedantis. But the Bhakti Vedantis very rightly said, no, at the moment your duty is to support your mother. You are the only child, and you are the hope of your mother. So Narad Muni, let's see, how he conducts himself, staying in his own place. This is the principle of sthane sthita shrutigatam tanuvan manobhir. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphasizes on this verse given by Ramananda Rai. So this verse is from Srīmad Bhāgavatam, 14th chapter, 10th canto. Brahmaji speaks. That's sthane sthita. We don't have to leave our situation, unnecessarily. Of course, when the time comes to leave, one, if so impelled and inspired, can leave. However, in 99.9% of the situation, we have to remain in our social order, position, and ashrama. And this is called sthane sthita. But when we are in that sthana sthita, situated in this place, what should we do? Shruti gatam tanuman manobhir. We should shruti gatam, hear the descriptions of the pastimes of Krishna with our body, our words, and our mind. What does it mean? It means that everything we do with the body, all the services work, it should be directed towards ultimately hearing the pastimes of the Lord. One, with our words, we should glorify Krishna. And manobhir, and our mind should be absorbed in this. And if we are engaged in this way, then that Krishna who is Ajita, not conquerable, he becomes Jita, conquerable by the earnest efforts of the devotee. Text number 7. Sasvatantra nakalpasit yogashemam mamechati ishasya hi vashe loko yoshadaru meyatha. This is a very important verse, and our Guru Maharaj, gave various classes on this particular verse. Let's look at the translation. She wanted to look after my maintenance properly, but because she was not independent, she was not able to do anything for me. The world is under the full control of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, everyone is like a wooden doll in the hands of a puppet master. Yoshadaru mei yatha. Let's look at word to word and try to understand this verse. Sa, she, asvantantra, was dependent. Asvatantra. Asvatantra means independent, and asvatantra means dependent. So she was dependent, not kalpa, able. Asit was yoga shemam, maintenance, mama, my, ichhati, although desirous. So she wanted to look after my maintenance properly, but because she was not independent, she was not able to do anything for me. So we think that Atma Sanyeshu Asatswapi, that we are the soldiers, we are infallible soldiers, we can protect our dependence. A mother thinks, I can protect my child. I will do everything for the child, make arrangement for their feeding, their sheltering, And even when they grow up, get them a deposit for the house and so and so. Our father, mother, they think like this. However, we ourselves are asvatantra, not independent. We are dependent. So there's a nice verse in Bhāgavatam. I think it is Vidura who says to Dhritarashtra that kala karma guna adhino, that we have our own karma, our own modes that we have acquired, according to which we act helplessly, and the time factor is there, which is acting upon us. So kala karma guna adino, and on top of that, dehoyam panchabhautiko. We have this material body, dehoyam, made of 5 material elements, which will deteriorate, and one day this body will bite to dust. So kala karma guna adino dehoyam panchabhautiko. Rakshasya gopayad to anyamstu. So it goes something like that. Then how can one protect others? Kala sarpo yatha param. When we ourselves are in the jaws of the serpent of time, we cannot protect others when we ourselves are fallible. So here, this point is very nicely mentioned. Everyone is under the control of Ishasyahi Vashe Loko. Krishna is controlling everyone. Ishasya. Ishasya, here Prabhupada translates as providence. We can understand that providence comes from Ishvara. So Ishvara and Ishasya, providence comes from Krishna, because he is the supreme controller. He vashe loko. Everything is under the vash, under the control of Krishna. How? Yosha daru mai yatha. Yosha, doll, daru mai, made of wood. So a wooden doll in the hand of puppeteer is under the full control of the puppeteer. The wooden doll has no control. So similarly, we also have no control in that sense. Yatha, as much as. So the destiny is there, no doubt. Ishasya hi vashe loko. However, how we respond to that makes a difference, and how we plan our life, that ultimately we navigate through troughs and the lows of our life, and how somehow or the other we can align our consciousness to come to Krishna consciousness and always be absorbed in Krishna. That actually is the goal of life, the aim of life, in all the ups and downs. And here we see ups and downs happening. Would anyone like to comment, or does anyone have any question so far?
Prabhu, Hare Krishna. When we're talking of the Bhakti Vedantists, I remember one poem which Prabhupada wrote when he was on the boat, and I've repeated this before. It says, Bhakti nahi bedi nahi khub naam dharo, Bhakti Vedanta naam eve sarthak karo. And this is the very practical tip which he gives to us, that he, in his complete humility, he says, I don't have any bhakti, I don't have any devotion. And bedi nahi means I've got no knowledge of Krishna, I've got no knowledge of the Vedas. So what do? Same situation like us, we don't have any bhakti, we don't have any knowledge. So what do? Bhakti with khub naam dharo. So basically, if we chant Hare Krishna more and more and more, as much as we can, as many times as we can, and then Prabhupada says to Krishna, Bhakti Vedanta naam ebe sarthaka karo. That you are the one, Krishna, you have to do sarthaka, this name of Bhakti Vedanta. So you have to prove this name correct to the whole world. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for that comment. Yes, that is our goal, chanting the holy names of the Lord. And if we can understand, Ishasya hi vashe loko, Yosha daru mai yatha, that we are like wooden dolls. We can't do anything. We don't have anything. So Srila Prabhupada, in explaining the meaning of the Maha Mantra, he says that when chanting, we should cry like a child for mother in that desperation. And definitely, our chanting can be more desperate than what it is. Let's go to text number 8. Aham chatat brahmakule usivamstad upekshaya digdesha kala yutpanno balaka panchahayana. Translation: when I was a mere child of 5 years, I lived in a brāhmaṇa school. I was dependent on my mother's affection and had no experience of different lands. Word to word, aham, I, sha, also, that, brahmakule, in the school of the brahmanas, Shivan lived, tat, her, upekshaya, being dependent on, Desha, direction and country, Kala, time, Anyutpannaha, having no experience, Balakaha, a mere child, Pancha, 5, Hayanaha, years. And what experience can a 5-year-old child have? If we track back our own journey back to 5 years old, these subject matters would be very foreign to us. We would not even think about it. But Narad Muni is extraordinary personality. Let's look at what happens. Text number 9. Ekada nirgatam gehad duhatim nishigam pati sarpo dashat padasprishta kripanan kalachoditaha. Once upon a time, my poor mother, when going out one night to milk a cow, was beaten on the leg by a serpent, influenced by supreme time. Would anyone like to read the purport, please?
I read.
Yes, Mataji.
That is the way of dragging a sincere soul nearer to God. The poor boy was being looked after only by his affectionate mother, and yet the mother was taken from the world by the supreme will in order to put him completely at the mercy of the Lord. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. This is a very important verse and very nice purport by Srila Prabhupada. It says that is the way of dragging a sincere soul nearer to God. So Narad Muni had desire to go with Bhakti Vedantis and practice devotional service. And somehow or the other, we see that Krishna, in a very unusual way, makes that arrangement. However, people in general, who have no sense of spiritual knowledge would unduly blame God. Oh, look, what was the need of the Lord to take away the mother of a 5-year-old child? How will he survive now? However, the poor boy was being looked after only by his affection, and yet mother was taken away from the world by the supreme will. But the reason is what? In order to put him completely under the mercy of the Lord. So it is actually the mercy of the Lord. This is Krishna's mercy, a special mercy on the devotee, that when he makes the devotee only dependent on him. Let's look at word to word. Ekada, once upon a time, nirgatam, having gone away, gehat, from home, duhatim, for milking, nishi, at night, gam, the cow, pati, on the path, sarpaha, snake, adashat, beaten, pada, on the leg, sprishtaha, thus struck, kripana, the poor woman, kala choditaha, influenced by the supreme time. So our Guru Maharaj emphasizes on this point, kala choditaha, influenced by the supreme time. We always have to be cognizant of the fact that Krishna's supreme time factor, kala, is always acting upon us. we are not in full control. And therefore, we always have to be alert. Very nicely, it is said that jhatapat manacheta, that quickly we have to become alert of this fact that any time our life may end. Therefore, why are we wasting our time here and there? Shouldn't our one purpose of life, with all the disturbance that is going around, all the noise that is going around, that will go around. There's no way ever this material life will be peaceful. There will be something going on. It's like these waves going and coming in the sea. If we decide that we will only have a swim or a bath in sea when the waves stop, it will never happen. Similarly, this life will always be turbulent. And in that turbulence, we have to dive in the depths of Srīmad Bhāgavatam, and in the depths of chanting the holy names of the Lord, in the depths of serving the devotees and doing our devotional service. Let's not wait for the right time. Now is the right time. Thank you so much, Prabhus and Matajis. Have a wonderful Krishna conscious day. And with Krishna's blessings, we will continue tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.